Hello, this is Charter Local Edition Northwest. I'm your host for today, Dana Cowley, and my guest is our Washington Representative Cindy Ryu. She's a Democrat from District 32. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Now, we're in Portland. We're attending the Oregon Coast Economic Summit. You're from Washington. What value do you find here, especially for your constituents back home?
Of course, Oregon's a beautiful place to visit, and we are part of the PNWR, Pacific Northwest Economic Region. And so as the chair of the Community Development, Housing and Tribal Affairs, I thought it was very important for me to be here, especially for the Disaster Resilience Symposium.
Now, what are you learning so far about that? It just seems to be that our disasters, our natural wildfires are getting greater. There's concern with illness among the timber industry, and of course always the threat of a tsunami. So thoughts about what we can do to better protect ourselves?
Yes, I was an insurance professional for 24 years, and I was, I think, a very cautious child anyway. Fortunately, because of the work that I did, as well as training in business management, I was able to, instead of just worrying about things constantly, I was actually able to start planning and implementing risk reduction actions at a personal level. So now that I'm in the legislature, it's just wonderful to actually come together with hundreds of other legislators and professionals on how we can plan ahead so that we are much better prepared and so that our communities can actually recover and be better prepared and much more informed about how to communicate with one another and to recover so that our economy can get back on its feet and people can live and work and go to school in a much shorter time than if we had done no planning at all.
Right. So for people watching at home, what are the recommendations you would have for people watching where you live? Things that they can do, just simple things within their family that you did when you learned.
Yes. So for years now, we've been saying 3 days, 3 ways. Make sure you have enough food and water for 3 days. Make sure you have ways to communicate with other members of your family. Well, what we're finding is 3 days is not enough. It's more like 2 or 3 weeks worth of food and water, as well as, of course, if you have battery backup to your cell phone, especially if we are able to bring up cell service back online as soon as we can. Of course, being in touch through calling, not getting on the cell right away, but communicating with one another, helping your neighbors, of course, and being ready no matter what it is by being self-sufficient, of course, but also making sure that the first responders can reach you in a timely manner.
Yeah, sometimes just good signage on your house.
Yes.
Simple things. And then I remember a time when we didn't have cell phones, but I know for many young people that causes a lot of panic and anxiety, and that can make a disastrous situation even worse.
Exactly.
If people, really lose that device, and sometimes even practicing going without the device is good for young people who are very attached to it.
Yes, to a point of being addicted. So one of the exercises we did was imagine if your cell phone was taken away from you for 24 hours. How would you deal with life? How would you feel, right? And even me, who grew up in the microfiche and index card era, I could feel some sort of panic coming on. And so another one is people to people, neighbor to neighbor information as well as support. We still have to have that human touch.
Yes. Well, what else do you hope to accomplish when you're here at the summit?
I hope to be able to learn a lot more about economic revitalization, as well as, of course, make connections with other professionals and legislators. And one of it is FirstNet, which is a proposal from the federal government about first responders network that AT&T has the contract on. And our governor is considering it right now as we speak. And so I'm hoping that the legislators can actually learn a lot more about it and have our input in that decision-making process.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest here. This is Cindy Ryu. I'm Dana Cowley, and we appreciate you watching Charter Local Edition Northwest.